Hello everyone, Dave Barton here. This is for our April newsletter, and thanks to everyone who's signed up for it. We really appreciate it, and we want more. We also want more questions, so we're going to answer some questions at the end. But the more things you ask me, the more we all know about the town that we all love. So we're going to start with downtown revitalization. Things continue to happen here. Let's just we'll start here about where we're looking. Oh no, we'll start with this one. So this is on top of the culvert. This is where the Circle K is or was. And these are the buildings that go up towards the CIBC Bank and kind of end here. This is extremely important to Uxbridge, to me, to our downtown. We got almost 2,000 people that have told us what they want to see downtown, and we're working really hard to do it. We've actually stepped up and gone with the most aggressive thing we could ever do, and that is to actually force people to sell us lands that they didn't want to sell to make this vision happen. So we are expropriating this corner all the way down to the Circle K. So where the Remax building is and all that, we've hired a company to help the people who live or work in those spaces to relocate. It's going to be a little bit tough. It's going to be noisy. Nobody ever wants to be forced to move, but we're working on that because this is a once in a generation opportunity. Because we already own the Circle K, because we own the lands behind it, if we're going to make our downtown look, feel, and also be more vital, to have more happening, this is the only way to do it, and that's to develop it all in one chunk. We always hear about places like Port Perry or all these other towns that the downtown feels is significantly better than ours. A lot of that is because it was all developed in one chunk. Sometimes there was a giant fire that took it all out at once, and then they could build it all in a way that looks and feels way better. Anyway, that's where we're at. So that's downtown. Did I miss anything on downtown? Should I say anything else? Anyway, we expect to have that RFP out in the next about 90 days. So next we're going to talk about the pool. This is something, there's always a bit of a story with kind of where we're here. Ux Pool is older than I am. It's near end of life. It's a concrete block structure, concrete roof, and it's near end of life. There's lots of renovations that we could do, but when you started to add up the cost of redoing the structures, the building envelope, then we started looking at the pool itself, and it's not bad, but it's certainly not good. And to try and do a renovation, we found was going to cost significantly more than building a whole new pool. There's lots of communities that have spent significantly more, but they have lots of growth. So Georgina just built a $50 million facility. King City just built an $80 or $90 million facility. There's hundreds of millions of dollars happening in Whitby and Pickering. We just don't have the growth and the development charges to do it. We have $4 million-ish in the bank from development charges. We're gonna put that to $4 million additional dollars that we will get through taxes and development charges and everything else to get this working. But we're also applying for a grant for another $8 million from the provincial government to try to make this happen. This is why it's important from an Uxbridge perspective. This is Uxbridge. The inner ring is 25 kilometers, the outer ring is 35 kilometers, and so the closest pool is Stouffville, and it's more than 25 kilometers away. So this doesn't only serve Uxbridge, this serves Scugog and some areas of Georgina and also Brock. So that's why it's important to North Durham. If we went with a traditional build, we couldn't do it. We just don't have the money, even with the grant opportunities. So what we've done is a little bit different. It's the R value, the insulation value is amazing. They're using these pool structures for pool structures all over the globe, but they also use these for military bases and things like that. When you want to be able to put up a facility really quick, the outer coating lasts for more than 25 years and is fairly inexpensive to replace. The look and feel from the inside is amazing. It's beautiful inside and allows us to do everything we want to do. So it's an 8-lane, 25-meter pool that will be fairly cold. That's what the competitive swimmers want. It'll be a therapy pool, so 10 by 15 meter pool that will be quite warm for like infant swimming lessons, things like that. We also have all the types of washrooms, men's, women's, universal, family, all that stuff will be in here. Some office space, etc. And all of this can be built in one chunk without tearing down the Ux Pool. This last piece encompasses some of what the Ux Pool has. So the goal here is to have both facilities running and operating at the same time, so that we don't have to tear down the Ux Pool a year before we start building this. So that's what we're working on. The only way to make this happen is through the generosity of the province. So if you're talking to our MPP, Peter Bethenfalvy, tell him how important this pool project is. Peter's been incredibly supportive of Uxbridge so far. You know, we obviously have the new hospital going in, the long-term care, the provincial park. He's helped with downtown. But if this is important to us, and this is the only way to do it, is with Peter's help. Okay, any questions on that, guys? Did I miss anything?
No.
All right, next. Another one that we've been waiting for a long, long time. So this is the animal shelter. Animal shelter started in 2011 with incredibly caring individuals like Ginger Jackson and a number of committee members that really cared about our animals, and they decided that they wanted to give the townships of Uxbridge and Skugog an animal shelter that we can share that is so much better than the facility we have right now. Council of the day, I wasn't there at the time, decided to move ahead with that project, but with inflation and when you start to really scope out what this had to be, it wasn't going to be $1 million facility that they thought it was going to be. It ended up being significantly more. They raised over $700,000 for this project that was stalled when I stepped into office, unfortunately. So what happened is a contractor said he could do it for a certain amount of money, and it was way more when we got into it. But this is where we are today. We have a facility at the original site, which is just south on Lake Ridge Road, on the Uxbridge side. This will be an ICF style build, so insulated concrete construction, fairly simple design. It's almost 3 times as large as the facility we have right now. It has all the office space. It has lots of room for cats, for other small animals, and for dogs, and it will be incredibly efficient to run because it, again, will be insulated really, really well. It will have cladding like steel roofing and things like that that will outlast me, which is important. And then it will be, because it's insulated concrete forms, it's the heated floors will allow us to keep it warm at a low cost, keep it cool at a low cost. It'll be a great environment for the animals. I'll just walk you through the inside just a touch and won't go into detail, but the light blue on the bottom is the dog area. The top here, the pink purple area is for cats. The yellow is sort of staffing, and then the dark gray here is because it's sort of the area to get materials in, including the animals, a garage bay, things like that. And again, this is something we're going to be really proud of. It will be very efficient to run long term, and it'll be great for Uxbridge. Now, Jen, why don't we jump into questions?
Sure. The first question is, are there any plans to pursue a grocery store in the old PV Mart location?
Again, I've heard we need more affordable groceries for a long time. I have talked, I think last month we talked about it a little bit, but I met with a couple different grocery chains. I have had meetings with the people that own the PV Mart and some other properties in town, and I've connected those individuals. So to make sure that they know how to reach me, they know how to reach our building department, and they know how to reach each other. I know they're in talks. We really want them to do this, and anything I can do to support, I will. So far, I've made the connection so that everybody knows each other, and they all know how important it is to me, how important it is to you as residents of Uxbridge to have additional grocery options. So we'll continue to work, and if you happen to work for our large grocery chain and you want to be in Uxbridge, reach out to me and we'll make sure that you get the support that you need to work things through a building department.
Next question is about potholes. There are a number of potholes around town. What's the township doing about that?
Okay, so we spend, I think the number is 65 or 70% of our budget on capital projects, on roads and bridges. So we're doing an awful lot to make sure that our roads are in the best shape they can be. We put 2% of our tax levy every year towards those capital projects to make sure that every year our roads get a little bit better. And since I've been here, I think we've paved, it's close to 30 kilometers of roads for the very first time. So we're doing a lot, but potholes, especially with a winter like we just had, with lots of warm, cold cycles like we're experiencing today. I think it started at -8 and I think it's 10 degrees right now. So this type of significant temperature change creates potholes. They're gonna be here, they will be here they were here before I was in office, they'll be here long after I'm in office. It's part of the deal. And we're doing our best to get rid of them. If you email roads@oxbridge.ca, that will go directly to the team to get that scheduled, and we will try to stay ahead of the potholes this year. What I promise you is there'll be way less by July. I don't know if that's the way you want to hear, but we're doing everything we can to make it better, including we're doing some treatments on top of roads. We did it on Brookdale a while ago, and that makes it a lot better for a number of years, so without a full repave. Folks, thanks for paying attention. Keep supporting our local businesses. Keep supporting Canada. Oh, something else I want to talk about really quickly. You'll notice that our Canada flags are up all over town. That happened yesterday. That was thanks to the generosity of Elizabeth and Brian Todd. Brian reached out to me and said, Dave, I want to see Canada flags up like Stouffville. And we found a way to work through our BIA and other things to get our Canada banners up right away. If you ever need to reach me for something like that, you can find me at mayor@uxbridge.ca. And guys, thank you so much for living and working in Uxbridge. Take care.